Post-game recap time. My God, was that an absolute disgrace, debacle, whatever word you want to use to describe. That's what the New York Jets gave you today against the New England Patriots. The Patriots destroyed the Jets 54-13. Well, let's be real. It wasn't even that close. The final score probably doesn't even do it justice. This team was badly outcoached, outplayed, and simply put, destroyed on the football field today. And I'm going to rant, I'm going to rave, and we're going to talk about it here in this video. My name is Jake Asman. This is a post-game recap here on the Jake Asman Show. Please do me a favor and click the subscribe button on the right-hand side of your screen if you're new to the channel, and comment your thoughts afterwards on what you made of that Jets debacle against the Patriots. I mean, let's start with the coaching. What a disgrace to have 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And that's the performance that you come out with. 3 and out on the opening drive. What else is new? I mean, you blink and the Jets are down 14-0 in this game. It's just unacceptable. No Jet fan even expects to win these games. We expected a team to go in there and be competitive. 2 weeks to prepare, to put this team in position to compete. And you're losing 54-13. The Jets had a performance today that would make Rich Kotite proud or Adam Gase proud. I mean, it's just, you're watching this and you cannot believe that here we are in 2021, and it feels like it's felt the last 10 years, specifically last year. I mean, Adam Gase is probably smiling with the type of performance the Jets went out there and had today. And look, we'll get on the players, but this to me falls directly on Robert Saleh and the entire coaching staff. I have been very patient with this coaching staff. That includes Mike LaFleur, who has done a poor job as this team's offensive coordinator. But today, I mean, what's the excuse for what happened today? It starts with Robert Saleh coming off a bye. Now it's officially time to legitimately criticize this coaching staff in all phases. We gave the defense a lot of praise, a lot of props for how they came out and played early on this season. And guess what's happened since? These last 2 games, they have been absolutely horrendous. They have been garbage. I don't know how else to describe it. Look, I understand C.J. Mosley not playing is a big freaking deal for this team. I get it. He's arguably their best defensive player. He's been great for them. But I'm sorry. C.J. Mosley not playing is not an excuse for this team to collapse defensively. I mean, learn how to defend a screen pass, for crying out loud. Learn how to defend a screen pass. 3rd and long, you just knew every time New England was going to pick it up. And then first play of the game, they go right down the field, trick play. When was the last time the Jets actually executed a trick play of their own that worked like that? Just the coaching disparity in this game was alarming. It was eye-opening. I can't control the Mosley injury. I can't control Zach Wilson getting hurt. And believe me, we'll talk about him leaving the game in the second quarter in a moment, because that's obviously the overarching story now for this team going forward. But I am so discouraged by what we saw from this team from a coaching standpoint that, look, I'm not saying you fire Robert Saleh and fire the staff, but this is an eye-opening game that makes you go, what are we doing? You had 2 weeks to prepare for a division opponent that you already saw in week 2, and you come out looking like that? I mean, I am so disappointed in that. Every single person is going to be crapping all over the Jets. And you know what? The Jets deserve it. They don't want to be the butt of the jokes. Well, guess what? You are the butt of the jokes when you go out there and you're down 30 points at halftime. Just a disgrace. It cannot happen. That cannot happen. All right? I understand this team is rebuilding, but you need to be more competitive. No one's asking you to win this game. No one was asking you to win the Broncos game. But we are asking this team to go out there and compete, not have games being decided in the first quarter like it was yet again today. I mean, you look at the box score here, and we all knew the game was over. The opening drive, the Patriots go right down the field. They're up 14, or they're up 7-0. Then they score again because the Jets go 3 and out on their first drive. You blink, 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Doesn't help that Amendola, of course, misses that field goal from 49 yards out. I mean, of course he missed it. So it's just like, what are we doing? I mean, no one was asking this team to win. But the lack of just competitiveness early, And then when Zach Wilson gets hurt, I mean, forget about it. Mike White coming in, oh, well, the Jets need a veteran backup. I agree, but it's not going to make a difference in this game. Mike White getting his first live game action against the Patriots went exactly what you would think. I mean, it's amazing his first pass actually was that touchdown to Corey Davis. I could not believe that play wasn't intercepted. But my God, I mean, this was just a joke. Just a joke. We deserve better as fans of this team. All right, no one was asking for a win, but just be competitive. For the defense to be that poor, for the Jets to continue to flat out stink in the first half of these games. I mean, what are we doing? Opening drive, 4 plays, 65 yards right off the bat. I mean, it's embarrassing. An absolute embarrassment. The Jets have been outscored 106-20 in the first half through 6 games. I mean, they gave the stat on the broadcast. The only team that has done what the Jets have done in the first quarter, not scoring in their first 6 games in the first quarter, was the 2008 Lions. I mean, we're talking about the worst team maybe in NFL history, the 2008 0-16 Lions. It's just pathetic, man. I get it. CJ Mosley's really good. We've all watched him this year. We know he's not good, or we know he's very good. But the Jets performing the way they did without him is a joke. It's an embarrassment. That can't happen. Shame on them. Shame on them. Robert Saleh, look, I think we all like the hire. I think we like how he's handled himself thus far. The defense had been playing well, but these last 2 weeks have been a bad look for him, his coaching staff, and this game today is a poor reflection on him specifically. If you want to blame one person for this loss, it starts with the head coach. We know the team lacks talent. We understand that. But my God, 2 weeks to prepare, and this is how your team comes out after a bye week. The disparity in coaching today was alarming. It was Cote level. It was Gase level. It was Bowles level. It was that bad. And I thought the Jets were past this type of performance. I thought we were past what we saw week 2 with the quarterback imploding. I thought we were past what we saw against the Denver Broncos in week 3 on the road losing 26-0. This was a joke. 54 points this defense allowed. Pathetic. Now we get to Zach Wilson. Look, I don't know what the status is for Zach Wilson. I felt like it was encouraging early on in this game when, he goes down with the injury, but then they say he was questionable. So you're thinking, all right, well, if he's questionable, it can't be hopefully too severe if they're thinking he might be able to come back in the game. But once you saw the score and you saw how crappy the Jets O-line was playing and just how poor the Jets were, it made no sense to put Zach back in this game. And then they officially rule him out. So Robert Saleh is talking right now. He's calling it an embarrassing performance. He blamed the coaching staff, and Zach Wilson is getting an MRI. Saleh said initially the Jets feel good, but you don't know. So, look, the reality is this. The second Zach Wilson got hurt, I mean, yes, I'm watching this game. I'll watch every play like every real Jet fan does. But, what are we watching here? I mean, there's really nothing to watch if Mike White's going to be your quarterback. Sure, you want to see some of the younger players on this team make plays, but when Zach Wilson's hurt, I mean, there's nothing to watch with this team, especially with the score being what it was when he got hurt. I mean, he got hurt in this game. It was 17-0. So the game was over at that point in all reality. So he goes down in the second quarter with the knee injury, and now you're just hoping for the best, right? The Jets said they're going to give the guy an MRI, and I mean, I'll put the quote here on the screen. They initially feel good that it's not too severe. I mean, you can only hope. You can only hope. It's just you never know with a quarterback injury. I'll say this, and I'll get out in front of it. If Zach Wilson is not close to 100% by next week against the Bengals, don't play him. Don't play him because then you got to play Thursday Night Football the following week. If he's got to miss next week for the greater good of keeping this guy healthy for the remainder of the season, there's still 11 games left in this season. If he's got to miss one, then all right, I can live with it. Because you got Thursday Night Football, a short week coming up after the Bengal game. So that's just looking ahead. If he's not good, if he can't play, then I'm fine with just sitting him for a game because this guy's the future. He needs to develop. He's not going to be able to develop if he's hurt and not able to, to play like we need him to be able to play and be able to move around and make plays, especially with how crappy this Jets offensive line has been at times this season. It's brutal. It's just brutal. It's just like we deserve better as fans than this garbage that we saw out there. I mean, how many times in a row are you just going to continue to lose to the New England Patriots? They're starting a rookie quarterback as well. They're 0-4 at home. I'm not even saying win the game. but you lose again and again and again. And it's enough. I mean, just the fact that the Jets continue just to be the butt of jokes week after week after week. I'm sick of it. We're all sick of it. Do something about it. Like, how does Woody Johnson and Christopher Johnson look themselves in the face? How do they walk around in public knowing that they've allowed this franchise to get to this point for 10 years now? It's such a joke. It really is. More from Saleh. He says he's been talking about adversity and arrived, and the NFL doesn't give a flying, quote, shit. They have to line up again and play better next week. Saleh added, I always will look at myself first and ask what he's most angry about. I mean, look, I'm glad Robert Saleh is angry. Hopefully someone on this team besides him is angry, because as much as I blame him for the performance today, these players got to be better. How many mistakes are they going to make? I mean, how many missed assignments, blown coverages? Can the Jets learn how to defend a screen? It's just the lack of just pride from this football team here is just brutal. I mean, I'm glad you're pissed off, Robert Saleh, but do something about it. All right. I mean, the angry coaches is great. Now fix the problem. I mean, I don't even know what else to say, right? We're going to point to, the one positive being they finally used Elijah Moore on an end around. He scored his first touchdown. Where's that been this entire season so far? More of that in these games. I mean, Denzel Mims, his first catch is until 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. How is that possible? Well, at the same time, it's tough to really talk about this team right now and evaluate what they did in this game, because Zach Wilson gets hurt in the second quarter. So he misses most of the second quarter. That hit, by the way, was dirty as shit. I'm just going to be real with all you. I mean, the hit before the hit that knocked him out of the game was a low hit at his knees. Of course, a Jet quarterback doesn't get any protection, but go back to the game 2 weeks ago in London where Quincy Williams is called for roughing the passer on a football play. That was roughing the passer, what Zach Wilson experienced on the previous play before his injury. I mean, that was garbage, but the Jets are never going to get a call, especially not in Foxborough. You know how that goes. But, I mean, even besides that, man, like, this offense stunk before it. Going 3 and out on the opening drive, not capitalizing on the one drive where Wilson was in there, and they were moving the ball. I mean, this was as bad as it gets. I don't know what else can you really say. Were there any positives in this game? I mean, yay, Elijah Moore scored a touchdown. Okay. I thought Brandon Echols had a couple nice plays. Michael Carter had a couple nice plays, but who cares? I mean, a couple nice plays is not good enough when you lose 54-13. The defense sucked. There's nothing to talk about that's a positive here. I mean, you can't control Mosley being out for this one and Zach Wilson getting hurt in the second quarter. But the scheme, the lack of effort, just the Jets, just lack of preparation and I guess readiness to come out and play. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. You're down 30 points at halftime. I mean, show some pride. I mean, what else is there to say? Believe me, I'd love to see just more to talk about here. There isn't. I'm glad Saleh's pissed off. I guess that's the one positive. The head coach is pissed. He's showing more emotion than Adam Gase or Todd Bowles ever did. Great. I mean, that doesn't mean you're going to start winning games. I'm glad Saleh's pissed. I really am. But, I mean, my God, they need to go out there and figure it out. Figure it out. You got a week to prepare. All right? You're playing a Bengals team that's very good next week. Figure it out. I don't know what else to say. What do we got here, guys? Let's see the comments. Thanks to everyone who's taking time to watch. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe on the right-hand side of your screen. Richard, Franklin Meyer gets paid, and he can't rush no more. Look, the defense has been bad the last 2 weeks. I don't know if it's lined up directly with Franklin Myers getting paid and then he can't rush anymore, but, I mean, the defense hasn't been good. The Patriots were so much better coached in this game than the Jets. Like, they were so much better prepared for anything the Jets threw out there defensively. Like, Mac Jones completed 24 of his 36 passes. He only averaged 8.5 per attempt, right? He was checking it down, finding the open guy. I don't want to take anything away from him, but, look at the reads that he has to go through. Guys are wide open. It's like the Jets just aren't prepared. Like, they need to take elements of what the Patriots do for their rookie quarterback and do that with Zach Wilson and give him some easy completions. James, 12 straight losses to the Pats. Embarrassing. It's pathetic. I mean, it's embarrassing, pathetic. This is as pathetic of a performance that the Jets have had in 10 years. It's right up there with any of the games you put up last year in the Adam Gase era. It's right up there with anything we saw in the last couple of years of Todd Bowles. This new regime doesn't get a pass. Joe Douglas doesn't get a pass when his offensive line remains crappy. He's been here now long enough where he could fix it. He hasn't done a good enough job. Robert Saleh, yeah, he's only coached in, 6 NFL games. Not good enough, man. I don't care. You're not going to get a pass for your defense allowing 54 points and for your offense being, this anemic in the first half of games. I mean, the Jets still haven't scored points in the first quarter. It's pathetic. That's a coaching problem. And they have to correct it. Otherwise, I mean, what else is there to talk about with this team? No CJ, Zach hurt, no chance, bag on the head. Brutal. I mean, it's just, Jet fans, we all deserve better than this garbage. Why is Mike LaFleur not in the booth upstairs? I'd love to know that question too, 1189 Paris. I talked about this for the last 2 weeks here while we waited to watch this team come back from the bye week. I don't know why. I thought that'd be an adjustment they could make. LaFleur has said he's more comfortable calling plays from up there. Figured that makes some sense. They didn't do it, so I got nothing for you there. No idea. Hey, Mike LaFleur, call some better plays, man. Please. You're killing us. You're killing me. You're killing every Jet fan, Mikey. Please. Richard, we can't even make first downs. I mean, it can't even make first downs. You can't. They can't even get like positive yardage on first or second down. Every drive is third and long. GVR is a bum. He is not good. Patriots hit us with trick plays. That just shows how much they see us as a joke. Or they just knew the Jets wouldn't be able to defend it. Like the Patriots game plan on offense picked apart the fact that they know the Jets only play man-to-man defense. There's like no adjustments defensively. As much as we gave credit to Obrick and Saleh for how they did coaching this unit up the first 4 games of the year, and they did a pretty good job. The game against the Falcons 2 weeks ago, defense failed them, and today, defense didn't even give them a chance. Now, the offense sucks too. I don't want to just blame one unit because the team sucks right now, but my God, was this absolutely horrendous what we saw. What sin have us Jet fans done to deserve such torment? I'd love to know too, V-Man. I really would. It's mind-boggling that it's just like you're watching this team and the penalties, the just lack of discipline, just the inability to cover screen passes. It's the same crap that we have seen for years now. It's the same crap. And like you also look at the schedule. It's like, of course, off the bye, it's the Patriots. Like it's just, it's unbelievable. How did we beat the Titans? They're going to be one of the real anomalies, it looks like, this season. Now, the thing I'll say for the Jets is at least you don't got to play the Patriots again this year. The Jets clearly could play the Patriots 100 times, and it'd be maybe the same result we would see throughout the course of the season. So at least there's no more, Patriots on the schedule. You'll get 2 with the Dolphins. Jacksonville's on the schedule. The Texans are on the schedule. There are a couple of winnable games here for this team, but let's be real. Zach Wilson coming back and playing well is the only thing that truly matters for this team. Figure the bleep out. I mean, my God. Who's still watching Jets football? Judging by the 150 people watching this live and the thousands that will watch it after the fact, I think a lot of people are going to be watching Jets football because we're Jet fans. We're arguably the most passionate fan base in the NFL, and the hope is that one day, sticking through all the BS that this franchise puts us through, maybe we'll pay off if we finally see a team that could win a Super Bowl. That's the hope. I mean, the Knicks have turned it around. The Islanders have turned it around. I would think the Jets eventually can. I mean, most of us were alive when the Jets were good 10 years ago and back-to-back championship games. Just brutal. Just freaking brutal. Larry Romano. Oh, the pain, bro. I did notice Andrew Catalon quoted Joe Beningo, formerly of FAN, during this game here. So that was, a one chuckle that I had watching this embarrassment. Let's see. Kevin writes in, Jets quarterback Zach Wilson, MRI on the knee, but sources say the initial belief is he suffered an injury to his PCL. He'll likely miss time, but the test will determine how much. This team is going to be very unwatchable for any games that Zach Wilson misses. I mean, that's just the reality here. I'm waiting to see more information specifically on Zach. This is from Ian Rappaport that Kevin just put in there. I'll post the latest report here on Zach Wilson for those just seeing it. MRI on his knee. Sources say initial belief he suffered an injury to his PCL. He'll likely miss time, but the test will determine how much time. Look, the reality is they just had their bye too. So in typical Jets fan luck, this team can't even get lucky with their injuries, right? Of course, Wilson gets hurt in the game after the bye week. Of course. It's just, my God, they're going to lose every game he doesn't play. Mike White is awful. Now you could say, well, they need a veteran. The reality is, I don't know what veteran you were bringing in that's going to win you some games anyway. This team was screwed the entire time without a veteran quarterback. The reason why you have a veteran, though, is so that guy could help Zach Wilson develop. Jets didn't do that. Why? I won't know the exact answer. That being said, if he's going to miss time, you hope it's only 1 game, 2 games at the most. You hope. Sucks. They can't even lose right. Of course, they lose, and then the quarterback who needs the playing time to develop, he's going to miss time. This year is way more disappointing than last year, a feat I never thought would happen. I won't go that far. Last year, you were rooting for losses because you wanted the top pick. This year, you at least want to see Zach Wilson come back and play because there's hope that he could develop into a good quarterback. And we've seen the signs of him potentially being that guy. They go back to that Titans game. This year now sucks because he's now going to miss probably a game or 2, it looks like. So it's just brutal. We should get the number 1 pick next year. We must draft a quarterback again. There's no good quarterbacks that are coming out this year. That's the thing. It's not like it's even like a decision the Jets are going to make. They picked Wilson. He's the guy. Surround him with better coaching. Surround him with better talent because this was just a flat-out disgrace. Losing to the Pats badly hurts my soul. My range of emotions watching this game was anger to just apathy. Like I sat here and I'm in the ESPN 97 Houston offices watching this game because I have Sunday ticket. So I sit here in this office every Sunday, or if I'm not at the Jet fan bar here, and I got Red Zone on one TV, I got the Jets on the other. And like you watch NFL Red Zone and all these teams are playing like a sport that doesn't even resemble like what the Jets play. Like the Jets don't even look like they play football. It's just outside of that one game against Tennessee, it's been just so much pain watching this year. And losing to the Pats, it's just like every time. It's just, there it is. Schedule comes out. There are 2 losses. I mean, this team is just horrendous right now. Horrendous. This performance today was as bad as it gets. I mean, VR, I'm with you. We are unsalvageable. It's a word. Yeah, right now, I mean, I don't blame any Jet fan that feels down in the dumps, especially if Zach Wilson is going to have to miss a couple games now. It's like, what are we watching these next 2 weeks? We're going to watch Mike White try and run this offense? Like, great. I mean, every play should be a throw to Moore or Mims, or it's a waste of time. I mean, my God. I mean, the only thing that is, like, worth following right now with this team is just, like, how ugly is this going to get, really? I mean, my God. Jack Hawk, great point here. That first offensive drive told you all you need to know about Mike LaFleur. 2 weeks to prepare, 2 runs up the middle, sets up a 3rd and 7, and Zach gets sacked. How's that not being talked about? Jack, I made this point at the very beginning of the video discussing the disgraceful performance by this team. That drive at the beginning of the game was horrendous. Now, it gets lost in the shuffle because the team was so god-awful today, and the final score was 54-13. But I think you're right. The Jets come out, and the defense allows a 4-play touchdown drive by the New England Patriots. All right, offense gets the ball. Show us something. You had 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent that you've already seen. You saw this team in week 2, and you came out, and that's what happened? I mean, awful. LaFleur is coaching for his job the rest of the way. Performances like this, we will remember when he's canned at the end of the year, and it will be deserved if this continues. Robert Saleh is not going anywhere. Joe Douglas is not going anywhere. We could debate whether or not there should be conversations about that. We're not at that point yet, and it's not going to happen, so I'm not going to waste my breath. But LaFleur, come on, man. 2 runs up the middle, 3rd and 7. You put Zach Wilson in that situation, awful. Coaching staff has been very, very disappointing these last 2 games. Very, very disappointing. Defeat is one thing. Disgrace is another. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to lose. They were 7-point underdogs in this game. It's not like they were 30-point underdogs in this game. No one was asking this team to go out there and win. We wanted to see this team compete. You had 2 weeks to get ready for this game. 2 freaking weeks. And you came out with that type of performance. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. If this continues bad, Saleh is definitely on the hot seat. Look, I mean, barring the Jets going 1-16 this season, which they won't, as bad as this is right now, I do not think Robert Saleh is on the hot seat. I do think this team's got to show some progress, though. We all understood this is a rebuilding season. And even though the Jets have the longest playoff drought in the freaking NFL, we all understood this was year 1 of yet another rebuild that we hoped was finally headed in the right direction because of the fact they had this young quarterback, because they added talent to this offense, because of the fact this offensive line was supposed to be better. But what have we seen so far? We've seen this team play well for one really good half against Tennessee and then leave a lot to be desired elsewhere. And this game today was the worst of all of them. I mean, it is just hard to fathom how bad it's been. Hard to fathom. There was no difference watching this game today than any game that we saw Adam Gase coach last season. I mean, my God. Bino writes in, you sure they won't go 1-16? Because that's pretty sure that's well within their grasp. I'll say this. We're all angry. We're all pissed off. The schedule still has the Dolphins twice, Jacksonville, and the Texans on it. If the Jets can't win at least one of those games to avoid going 1-16, then Saleh should go. Everyone should go. I'm with you there. But this game today, to me, is a microcosm on this coaching staff right now. I'll say what I said at the top for anyone just tuning in live. When you go out there and you have 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent that you've already seen, and this is how you come out in the first half of the game, this is how you come out. I mean, the Patriots were up 14-0 in the first half of this game. The first quarter of this game. 14-0 after 1. They're up 31-7 at the half. What does that tell you? We know this team lacks talent. We know that. This team won 2 games last year. They tried to fill needs in the offseason. You are not going to fill every single need. But the effort, the compete level, the scheme putting them in the position to have success, I mean, this is all on the coaching. It's a bad look for Robert Saleh. I blame Robert Saleh and this coaching staff for this performance. You come off a bye and you show up and this is what you do, you can legitimately criticize this coaching staff in all aspects. That's fair now. Anyone that was saying fire Saleh when they were 0-3, that was ridiculous. Anyone who's saying it now, I'm not going to call you ridiculous because I understand the frustration because it's been that bad these last 2 weeks. Defensive-minded coach. This defense has been exposed these last 2 games. And then specifically today, it's like, what do you can't evaluate this team with Mike White in at quarterback. You just can't. It's brutal. This team has a lot of issues. This is a major, major mark on the coaching resume here for Saleh. He's going to have to go out there and clean this up. I mean, this team cannot have more performances like this. They just had the bye week. What did they do during the bye week? That's what I want to know. What the F did they do during the bye week that this is the type of performance that they came out with? Larry brings it up here in the comments. 2 weeks ago, Robert Saleh vowed they were going to look into what was causing these slow starts. Well, back to the drawing board. It didn't work. 3 and out in the first drive. Didn't score in the first quarter. Lucky to score a touchdown on, Mike White coming in for Wilson. And then when Wilson comes into this game, or when, when Mike White is to come in for Zach Wilson, you're just like, what are we doing here? You're just brutal. I mean, Zach Wilson, 6 of 10, 51 yards, then left with a knee injury. Now he's likely going to miss some time. I mean, what do you do? I don't know what you do. David writes in, LaFleur, only OC in the NFL, calling plays from the field. David, that's not true. Josh McDaniels is an OC in this game, and he calls plays from the field. I don't know if putting LaFleur up in the coach's box is the answer to the Jets' problems, but it can't be any worse. It cannot be any worse than what we have seen. Also, thanks so much for the $2 donation to this channel, David. Really do appreciate it. Jet fans, you guys are the best, man. I mean, there's 300 people watching this live right now reacting to just this debacle. We're all angry. We're all frustrated. And it's just, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. You know, I see Jose here writes, I want Rex back. Look, Rex had a couple of these games too. He's not blameless here. But the one thing you couldn't question with Rex Ryan is it always felt like his teams did usually go out there and play hard, especially against New England. The Jets would always get up against the Patriots, even in Rex's last couple of years with the Jets. They beat the Pats in 2013 with Geno Smith at quarterback. They went out there and were competitive against them, even in Rex's last year in 2014. I remember that game at MetLife Stadium. They almost won. So, like, I understand the Jet fan that misses Rex Ryan, man. Rex represents the last time this team was any good. 2009, 2010 Jets forever. Sean Ford, legitimate question. Did the Pats punt once? I put on red zone at the half. I think they did punt once in this game. It was late in the game, and every Jet beat writer in their snarky Twitter humor was sure to point out, wow, I didn't know the Pats had a punter. Or is the Pats punter drinking pina coladas on the sideline? Ha, ha, ha. What these Jet beat writers don't understand is that we get very pissed off when we watch these games. Like, let us rip our own team. We don't need you to do it on Twitter. Like, you're paid to cover football. Do that without the snarky humor, ripping the Jets. We could do that on our own. We don't need you doing it as well. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think I represent a lot of my fellow Jet fans here when I say that. GVR is trash. Yes, he is, and he will not be on the team next year. And if you want to get on Joe Douglas, the one thing I've been very vocal about for criticism of the Jets general manager is the fact that this guy put together this offensive line, and it's still not good enough. We know AVT is going to be good. We know Mekhi Becton, when he's healthy, is very good. I think at times Morgan Moses has been pretty good this year. But the interior offensive line is just not good enough. It's not good enough for a rookie quarterback. And it's getting Zach Wilson killed. VR writes in, worse than Monday night ghost game and butt fumble game. You know what? This is kind of where we're at, right? You know, comparing the ass kickings that the Jets have faced against the Pats. The butt fumble game was embarrassing because it was on Thanksgiving and everyone was watching. And, like, the Jets were awful, though, in 2012 when that happened. So, moving on from that. The Monday night ghost game, to me, was worse because it was on Monday night. And it came after Sam Darnold had that great performance after he played as well as he did against the Cowboys the previous week. He was the AFC Player of the Week against the Cowboys, where he had that big game, threw that touchdown to Robbie Anderson, and then he followed it up with the Monday night ghost game. That, to me, was worse because of the embarrassment of doing it in primetime. The Jets having this poor performance today, I mean, it gets buried because no one's watching it besides Jet fans. And then if you watch Red Zone, they show like 3 highlights from it, and that's it. So no one even saw it. And then Zach Wilson got hurt, and it's like, what do you expect? So I don't know. I don't want to compare embarrassing ass kickings because they all suck, but that's my personal thoughts on it. It's a freaking joke. Alexander, I can't argue with you. It is a freaking joke. Now that we got Zach killed, now what? Just a nightmare. Yeah, look, Zach Wilson shouldn't play again until he's 100% healthy. They should not be rushing him back. What pisses me off the most is, of course, this happens after the bye week. This couldn't happen against the Falcons, where he then would get an extra week to get healthy. The initial diagnosis, if you're just tuning in, because I'm sure a lot of people want to know about Zach Wilson, is that he's going to have an MRI on his knee, and the initial belief is that he suffered an injury to his PCL. He'll likely miss time, but the test will determine how much time. I mean, Zach Wilson said that he heard a pop in his knee and that his knee feels loose. This doesn't sound good. I'm reading some tweets here. Wilson was limping into the locker room or up to the podium for his presser. So it's not good. He's probably not playing next week at the earliest, if we're being honest here. It's probably not playing. So we shall see how it plays out. What else do we got here? Evil Skittles writes in, I didn't expect the Jets to win this game, but I didn't think we'd get beat this badly. This game was an absolute headache. Well said. Well said. I opened the video saying I did not expect this team to go out there and win, but I expected them to compete. You don't expect this team to get blown out 54-13. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Zach Wilson describes the play that took him out of the game. Quote, kind of felt like it twisted, felt the pop in there. Just was obviously thinking worst case scenario in my head, which sucks, but just making sure it's going to be all right. He's probably missing a game or two. Given the schedule coming up where the Jets play the Bengals next week, and then the following week they're playing Thursday night against the Indianapolis Colts, wouldn't surprise me if he misses 2 games. Now, that's all he misses. I guess you could sign up for that, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you hear the guy talking about his knee popping. You're thinking ACL. You're thinking PCL. You're thinking the worst. So we shall see. What do we got here? Jose, it makes Kotite and Gase look like good coaches. I'm sure those guys were smiling. They were like, yep, that's the type of performance we expect from the Jets. I'm sure Kotite and Gase, I'm sure they were smiling watching this game today. Jack Hawk, after 20 years as a Jet fan, I was ready to trade in my Jets jersey after the Gase era, but I bought back into this new era, new coach and Zach, and now I feel like a freaking jack off. I get it, Jack. I get it. This team makes you want to drink. It makes you want to rip out your hair. I understand. But here's the thing. This team right now is 1-5. They have played 6 games. It is a 17-game season. There are 11 games left. What are we not going to watch? I mean, I understand those who don't want to watch, those who just go red zone and they do something else. But, I mean, I'm still going to watch. You know, unfortunately, I'm addicted to Jet football, and that's bad because Jet football is the worst, and it makes you very sad. It makes you angry. It doesn't really give you that many emotions of happiness. But, like, I'm still going to watch, so I suspect a lot of you will too, and that's what sucks. This fan base is as loyal as any in sports, and we get treated to this garbage. It really just eats at you. It's disgusting. Mike White is garbage. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But did you expect anything different from Mike White? Like, he had a couple nice throws, I guess. I don't know. I was just expecting like Luke Falk level performance when he went in there. So the fact that he actually threw that touchdown to Corey Davis, I mean, you know, I guess that's better than what I thought. Peter Teixeira writes in. Peter's actually related to former New York Yankee Mark Teixeira. I'm done. How many times can you go back to the same restaurant that keeps giving you a bad meal? Yeah, I mean, the Jets just are a restaurant that keeps spitting in your food, and we all keep showing up expecting something different. I don't know why we keep expecting something different. Yeah, you could change the coach. You could change the quarterback. Hell, the Jets even tried to change the jerseys, but it's still the Jets franchise that's letting us down. So, my God. Addicted to Jets football like a woman being addicted to domestic violence. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go there, but it's bad right now. I understand the frustration from this fan base. This would have been the year to have McCown, honestly. Yeah, look, I think having a veteran quarterback would have been good for Zach, someone to help mentor him. I think a big reason why they don't have one, truthfully, and it's bad to say, I think Greg Knapp's unfortunate tragic death has had a severe impact on this team. They went with inexperience at offensive coordinator, inexperience at backup. I think because they had Greg Knapp there, right? He was going to be Zach's quarterback coach. He's coached Michael Vick. He's coached Peyton Manning. He's coached Steve Young. And when he tragically passed away a week and a half, 2 weeks before training camp began, I think that really had a significant impact on just the calm steadiness that they were going to have here. So it's unfortunate. And I hate, bringing up Greg Knapp because he's tragically no longer with us. But I think that has a big reason as to why there's not that experience there to help Zach Wilson. And now, of course, he's hurt. Saleh needs to go full crazy. Well, if you saw any of the press conference or you watched any of the quotes, look, he was angry. He was cursing. That's all great. But, my God. And you know what? I'll tell you what. If the Jets don't come out next week with a better effort after the Pats have no respect for them and decided to run up the score at the end of this game, then these guys shouldn't be football players. Like, if that doesn't motivate them and fire them up to come out next week and have a much better performance, my God. Bino writes in, yeah, Steve Young said he told Zach's dad he'll be in good hands because of Greg Knapp. Yeah, I've heard Steve Young say that on the Michael Kay show in New York. I've also heard him say it in other places as well. Look, the Jets didn't get their asses kicked 54-13 today because Greg Knapp is not their quarterback coach. But just the overall complexion about where this team is, the lack of experience, not having them, I think significantly hurts. All set aside, who have the Patriots beaten? This is actually worth pointing out. We all are well aware the Jets stink, right? We all can acknowledge the Jets aren't any good. But the Pats' 3 wins this year, 2 of them are against the Jets, and the other one's against the Texans, who started Davis Mills, who's not any good either. So just pointing that one out there. I don't think New England's a very good football team. I don't think they're a playoff team when it's all said and done, but who cares? Like, I'd rather be the New England Patriots right now than the New York Jets. Mosley make that big of a difference. Here's my point on C.J. Mosley for those just tuning in. Yes, he is a very good player. Yes, he's having a phenomenal season. Yes, he calls the plays on defense. All these things are true. That is not an excuse to get your doors blown off like the way this football team did today. That is not an excuse to be embarrassed the way this defense was. It is not an excuse for something like that to happen. Houston is beating Arizona 5-0 in quarter 2. Yes, I have the game on the TV right in front of me right now. I don't think that score will last, but maybe the Texans could actually cover an 18-point spread. Bino, and they should have lost to Houston. Yes, the Texans choked that game against New England. They blew a 22-9 third quarter lead. That was because of David Culley's incompetent coaching in that one. If you watch that game like I had to do for my day job down here in Houston. New England is not great people, and that's why our coaches should all be fired. You're not firing the coaching staff in the middle of the season. If the Jets go 1-16, then we'll have conversations then. I guess the old saying is, it's got to get bad. It's got to get worse before it can get better. I don't know. It'd be nice if this team can go out there and compete. You look at the Lions right now, guess what they're doing for Dan Campbell? They are competing against the Rams. That's all we were asking for from the Jets today. Compete. They couldn't even do that. They came out there and they're down 14-0 in the first quarter again. It's just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Texans greater than Jets. I wouldn't go that far. I think these teams are very, very bad, both of them. I think if Zach Wilson's healthy, the Jets should win that game. If it's Mike White playing against Davis Mills, I don't know if the Jets win that game on November 20th. I'll be in the building for that game. So, God, I hope this injury to Zach Wilson is not that severe and he's back by then. I think he will be, but I'm fully expecting Zach Wilson to miss at least 1 or 2 games here, given the Jets' schedule, the short week on Thursday Night Football. My God. The Jets are the worst team in football. I don't think they are, but I'm not going to argue with you if you think that after a performance like today. Like, come on. I'm not gonna defend the Jets, who got embarrassed today. They don't deserve anyone defending them. You want to think they're the worst team in football? You want to think they're worse than the Lions or the Texans or Jacksonville or the Dolphins, who are 1-6 now because they lost to Atlanta today? Be my guest. Clearly, the Jets are not a good football team right now. Clearly, that win over Tennessee was not a representative of what they can do on a consistent day-out basis, because these last 2 performances, specifically today, were as bad as it gets. Dumpster fire, as Destro writes in here in the comments, no doubt. this organization feels completely broken. On a day like today, it does. Now, what I will tell you, though, is this. As bad as today was, there's still so many games left in the season. There still is so many games left in the season. That's the frustrating part. That's the frustrating part. So, they have to figure it out. I don't know what it is specifically they got to do, but whatever they did today, throw it out and do something better. Throw it out. They had 2 weeks to prepare, and this is the game plan they put together. I mean, give me a break. It's a joke. The coaching disparity in this game was alarming. I don't know if the organization is completely broken, because I do like the fact that they have their draft picks, they have cap flexibility, but I mean, we don't know if Robert Saleh is a good coach or not. Today, a day like today is a bad sign. No one would deny that, but to say the organization feels completely broken, I understand the frustration. I can't sit here and say things are great. They're not. This team needs to be better. They have plenty of games to still figure it out. Mike thinks they're going 2-15. I think they'll be better than that, but who am I to tell you that they're not going to be 2-15 when you see a performance like this today? I mean, my God. Better off with Gase. No, they're not. Anyone that's saying that, I get the frustration. Revisionist history, though. They are not better off with Gase. My God. But, Marty, I agree with your first point. It's time to get hammered. If you watch Jet games and you're not drinking, responsibly, of course, then I don't know, man. I mean, that's like the only way to watch these games right now. Get a nice little buzz going. Did Saleh say it wasn't his job to motivate players? Wow. I don't know if he said that. Robert Saleh is a rah-rah coach, though. You know he's down on the way that his teams played. He was cursing like a sailor in this post-game press conference. I mean, look, the reality is Zach Wilson's probably going to miss a couple games here. They're going to lose every game he's not playing. I don't think they could beat Cincinnati next week, even if Wilson plays. And if he can't play against Indy, they're not winning that game either. So it's going to get worse, Jet fans, unfortunately, before it gets better. That's just kind of where we're at right now with where this team's at. I mean, this is a year, unfortunately, even though we have watched the Jets be bad for a decade and have the longest playoff drought in the NFL, this is still a team that is in year one of a rebuild, if that makes sense. In the sense that, like, yes, we've been watching this team start over 10 years in a row, it feels like. But for this regime, rookie coach, rookie quarterback, rookie OC, a GM that got to pick his coach and draft his quarterback, to them it's year one. And that sucks because there's going to be a lot of losing and a lot of pain. But that's kind of where this team's at right now. Jimmy Johnson and Troy Aikman looked as bad in their first season, and look how they turned out. Not yet time to bail. Look, anyone who bails, I mean, you're probably going to end up coming back because there's just too many games left in the season. And I don't think every game the Jets are going to lose, by 40 points like they did today, 40-plus points. But it's bad. I understand the frustration of any Jet fan. I really do. He said that it's not – Robert Saleh said it's not his job to motivate. It's certainly part of his job. I would need to see the full the full quote before I really weigh in on it. But I could tell you from some of the quotes I saw from Robert Saleh, he was not pleased. Called it embarrassing that an NFL team gave up 50 points. I mean, they need to go out there and they need to figure it out. Figure it out. I don't know how else to say it. This team is so bad right now. I mean, today was so bad. And, I mean, my God. Congress spends better money than Joe Douglas. Look, the Joe Douglas criticism is fair. He doesn't get a free pass forever. I've been vocal about this. This offensive line should be better. I will praise Joe Douglas for the trades he's made. He deserves all the credit in the world for the Jamal Adams trade. Getting a 2 firsts and a 1 for that guy is incredible. It's one of the best trades in NFL history. But this O-line stinks, right? We could praise Joe Douglas for finding a guy like John Franklin Myers off waivers, for drafting Bryce Hall in the 5th round, for drafting Michael Carter. Both Michael Carters look like players. There's been some good draft picks, but some of his free agent signings have been awful, right? And specifically, this is now the second year in a row he's tried to remake this offensive line, and this offensive line is not good enough. And this offensive line directly contributed to Zach Wilson now having to miss probably a game or two at the minimum here if I had to speculate on his injury. So, my God. Look, Peter, the Corey Davis signing is not a bad signing. He's a good player. That was the going rate for a receiver. He's 26 years old. Corey Davis is the least of the Jets' problems right now. You can get on Douglas for a lot of things. The Corey Davis signing is not one of them. John Franklin Myers is good last 2 games. How you get a sack off and a quarterback? The reality is this team has not been good defensively the last 2 games. I don't just blame John Franklin Myers. Where's Leonard? Where's Quinnen Williams? Where's Sheldon Rankins? This pass rush has just been non-existent now these last 2 games. And defensively, this team has gone out there and they have been absolutely pathetic at stopping screen passes. Like, do they practice that? What do they do all week at Florham Park? You know the Patriots are going to go out there and they're going to run screens when you're in man coverage and you're blitzing. David writes in, LaFleur needs to call his brother immediately. Yeah, David, look, I think there is no doubt that Matt LaFleur should maybe give some advice to Mike LaFleur. The advice might be simply, maybe you should have Aaron Rodgers. Because let's be real. I think Matt LaFleur has done a pretty good job coaching the Packers, right? You don't go 13-3 the last 2 years by accident. Green Bay's well on their way to being one of the best teams in the NFC yet again. But I'm sorry. He also has Aaron Rodgers. It's just, my God. One question is, why did Saleh buy a house he should have rented? Saleh's not getting fired after this year, guys. I understand the frustration, but they're not going to go one and done with Robert Saleh. They're just not going to do it. It sends a terrible message to the NFL. You got to give an NFL head coach more time. Kyle Shanahan with the Niners, right? Everyone loves Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan was 0-7 his first year as an NFL head coach. Brian Flores was 0-7 as well. I know Brian Flores looks like a disaster right now, but everyone was kissing his feet for what he did with the Dolphins last year. So I'm not blaming just Robert Saleh here. I will blame him for this game, though. See, here's the thing. You could criticize a coach for this game and then also understand that you still, as much as it pains me to say it, you still got to show more patience. You can't just say fire the coach after the Jets have played 6 games this year. And now evaluating this team without Zach Wilson is going to be tough. I can evaluate the defense, though, without Zach Wilson. I could say that this team needs to go out there and do better, be more effective, because they suck right now. And this defense quit today, I thought. And this defense did not make adjustments. And this defense lacked preparedness. All these things could be true. While at the same time, I could say, we're not getting rid of the head coach just yet. We're just not going to do it. What do we got here? LaFleur will be bagging groceries this time next year. Quick aside, isn't it funny how the go-to job when someone gets fired is he'll be bagging groceries? There's nothing wrong with bagging groceries. Why not? Like the 2 things, it's like, he'll be selling. So in the preseason, if a guy has a good game, we say, oh, well, he's doing it against insurance salesmen. And then if we want to get a guy fired, it's, well, he'll be bagging groceries this time next year. Just a thing I've noticed being in sports media for as long as I've been now, about the terminology that us and the fans use when we talk about a guy that's getting fired. Trade for Deshaun Watson. That ain't happening. That is not happening. The Jets have made their bed with Zach Wilson, 2nd overall. He needs more than just 5 games or 6 games as an NFL quarterback before we move on. Arizona fired their coach after 1 year, and look at where they are right now. Yeah, but you're not Arizona. You're just not. Robert Saleh is not in over his head like Steve Wilkes is. Look, today was awful for the Jets and Saleh, but you're not getting rid of Robert Saleh. It's not happening. If they have more games like this, come back to me, and my stance will definitely be different. But the Jets just will never beat the Patriots with Belichick. It seems like it's been 10 years of this bullshit. Like, what else does it really say? It's just been awful. All day the Pats use screens. Defensively, you got to make adjustments. Did the Jets not realize that the Pats knew that when you blitz, they're going to go to screens? Or when you're in man coverage, the Pats are going to pick that apart? It's just like, that's why a game like today, the coaching disparity was so obvious. It's like one team had their rookie quarterback comfortable in rhythm, making plays. They ran the trick play on the 4th play of the game to score their touchdown. And then the other team was just lost. And the Jets had 2 weeks to prepare for this BS that we watched. Mind-boggling. What else do we have here? I appreciate all you taking time to watch this. Hopefully, this is like a therapy session for you if you're a Jet fan like it is from me. I do ask if you're new to the channel to click the subscribe button on the right-hand side of the screen so we can continue to grow this page. And if you're watching live, like this video by clicking the thumbs up icon. It thus helps this channel continue to grow. We'll take some more comments here as we go for almost an hour here talking about this debacle up in New England. When will you think Saleh is in over his head? I just think we got to give the coach more time. I'm not excusing the performance. If you heard the beginning of the video, I'm screaming and yelling like every Jet fan was watching this game. But I don't know. I don't think the answer is fire the coach already. I refuse to believe the guy that everyone wanted the Jets to hire and Robert Saleh, he's already bad, and we know this 6 games in. Look, history will tell you you're probably going to end up being right because the Jets usually get it wrong, right? But you got to just be a little more patient, man. You really do. Phil, you still want Deshaun Watson? I'm telling you, man, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Jets aren't giving away 3-1s to get a guy when they already, took a quarterback 2nd overall. It's just not going to happen. 55 years of this, same old Jets isn't strong enough. Yeah, I get it, Rick. Look, if you've been watching this team for 55 years, you've seen way more bad than good. I get it. I get it. The Jets have been a tortured NFL franchise, and the Jet fan deserves better. But what are you going to do? We're not going to watch? There's 11 games left, baby. I look forward to watching all these games and suffering through it like we always do, seemingly each and every year. It's Snoopy. Saleh's terrible, Jake. We can all see it. Come on, bro. We've had patience for decades. It's 7 games, though, man. Or 6. It's 7 games. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been good, but we're not firing the head coach after 7 games. Sorry if I had got to say that, but that's just not how you run an NFL franchise. I'll give you examples of guys that have been god-awful in the beginning of their season, and they don't get fired. You're not firing him just yet. Not when they're the youngest team in the NFL with a rookie quarterback, a rookie OC. He needs more time. If they go 1-16, then yeah, we'll talk. But they're going to win some games here. They're not firing Robert Saleh. It's a bad performance, but he's not getting fired after this type of performance. He's just not. I'm just going to be realistic with you. Christopher writes in, sorry, Jake, this team's awful, the quarterback thing, and so does the coach. I don't know exactly what that comment is, Christopher, but yeah, look, just stressing what we're all feeling. This team is awful right now. All gas, no brakes. Yeah, I mean, that statement rings hollow when you get your ass kicked, 54-13 by your division rival. All gas, no brakes sounds good when you win games, not when you lose. Time for JD to trade for a veteran quarterback and sit the kids for a year. We're the laughing stock of the NFL. Mike, that does absolutely nothing. Zach Wilson needs to play. He needs experience. He needs to develop. Trading for some scrub veteran that is not going to help you do anything of significance this year is not the answer for this team. This team is the youngest team in the NFL. They need experience. There's going to be games where they get their ass kicked. Hopefully fewer than those than what we saw today, but they need to play. They need to play, period. We need Zach Wilson to get experience. That's why it sucks that he's hurt and probably going to miss at least a game or two because he needs to play and get experience out there. So why a rookie OC who doesn't seem to have a clue, as usual? That's a fair complaint. Robert Saleh hired Mike LaFleur. He looks like he's in over his head so far. That's a fair complaint. Now, Zach Wilson also hasn't been good on some plays that have been there. So I hate just saying, well, it's all LaFleur why the offense has struggled. It's not. There's been throws Zach Wilson as a rookie quarterback has to make, and he hasn't made it. Today, I don't know what was going to happen today. I mean, could Wilson have played better in the second half if he didn't get hurt? I suppose. But what we saw in the first half was more of the same. There was one good drive, and then, of course, the Jets don't pick up a first down, and then they miss the kick. Just terrible. Bengals are going to score 100 points against this defense. Yeah, I mean, look, the Bengals right now are clearly better. But it's not an excuse for the Jets to not compete. It's the NFL. Go look at the score of the Lions game right now. That team's competing. The Lions also went out there and should have beat the Ravens if Justin Tucker didn't hit like a 65-yard kick. It's the NFL. There are upsets every week. There are wacky scores every week. It's on the Jets to figure out a way somehow, some way to be competitive next week, not get blown out, not allow 50-plus points. It's just absolutely pathetic what we saw today. Pathetic. What do we got here? Stop with this Jets-Pats rivalry. I mean, it used to be one. It hasn't been because it's been dominated by the Patriots. Pats ran all over us. Mosley's so important to this defense. Look, we all know how good C.J. Mosley is. It's not an excuse for this team to be as badly embarrassed as they were today. It's just not. Mosley's really good. But my God, it's not an excuse for this team to allow 50-plus points to a rookie quarterback. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough at all. No excuses for this performance. This was as bad as it gets. All right, we've gone for an hour. Appreciate all of you who take time to watch these videos. Look, this sucks. We'll have more videos throughout the week to talk more about it. Hopefully, we'll get an idea on the timeline for a Zach Wilson injury the next time that you hear the sound of my voice. I ask if you watch this video to like down below, hit the like button, subscribe on the right-hand side of your screen. That's right here. Subscribe. It helps this channel continue to grow so I can continue to post daily Jets videos. Now, I hope some of you Jet fans are also Knicks fans because guess what? We could say this. The Knicks play tonight, and that's a good thing. So it's amazing how things have changed for the New York Knicks. I'm actually looking forward to watching this game against the Orlando Magic later tonight. Thanks to everyone who took time to watch this video. Like this video, subscribe. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the football weekend. Geno Smith plays tomorrow night. So I guess if you're a Jet fan, you're rooting obviously for the Saints, and then it's a better draft pick. We're already kind of looking ahead to the draft. Seems like that's how it goes when you root for the Jets. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Comment your thoughts if you're watching it after the fact. What is your biggest takeaway from this debacle? See you guys. Thanks for watching.